What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing an overview of the Jamar Chase interview that happened on July 30th after day 2 of training camp, I believe. We got some stuff to talk about, probably more of a shorter video as well, just because these interviews aren't too long. It's about the same length as Joe Burrow's interview, which was 12 minutes. So yeah, we'll see how long this video lasts. Probably around like 9 minutes as the last video, but yeah, we'll see. So one of the first things that Jamar Chase was asked about was definitely the little fight between him and DJ Turner, and he some of the things he said was just a lot of competitiveness. Strong, very strong first day out there. Yeah, a lot of competitiveness, a lot of fighting, a lot of teasing with each other, but at the end of the day, it's all love. It's just people trying to it's just brothers trying to get each other better, and just very competitive. And he said at the end of the day, it's football. Not trying to get too distracted by the altercations, but still like talking with each other, talking trash. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But yeah, just definitely not getting too distracted, because if these altercations start interrupting with practice, then that's where it kind of gets to be like a bad kind of distraction. But like, just talking back and forth is not such a bad thing if it's not interrupting practice. He said he likes DJ's attitude. He likes the feistiness. He likes the aggressiveness. That's what he likes to see, because in game, these players can use it to their advantage against their actual opponents, which will be different teams. So Jamar Chase definitely happy with DJ Turner kind of fighting back. And he said he's never seen DJ like this, so it's a bit of a surprise for him. But yeah. Another thing he pointed out was, making our weaknesses stronger. Just improving as a team. Just getting reps out there. Just practicing the things we need to work on. And yeah. When he was asked, "Is this the best Bengals team you've been on?" he said, "Ask me at the end of the year." And I think this is a very good point, because I think it's a very humble answer. And I think, despite like on paper, this is probably the best team we've seen in a while. We haven't actually played a game yet. So I think it's a very like professional and humble response from Jamar Chase. Like, just because we have a really good roster, we still have to prove ourselves. And the games haven't started yet, so we'll see at the end of the year. And I think that was a really good response from Jamar Chase. When he was asked about Dexter Lawrence, he said that he had no idea that we were gonna get Dexter Lawrence, but he's super happy about it. Loves the guy, and trying to help us be successful. You know, when Jamar Chase was asked, like, is this like you very publicly said that there are changes that has to be made, and she said, "Is this one of the changes that you were talking about?" And he said, "Yes, this is definitely a big change that I'm really happy about. I can tell that the organization wants us to win, and is listening to us and wants us to get better, because they're listening to us. They're signing players. They're making improvements to the defense, and that's all he wanted." So yeah, the D line's playing with unity, which is really nice. He said, they're playing as a whole. Talking with each other. They're they're feisty. They're arguing with the offensive line. Talking trash and all that, which isn't a bad thing. It's football. It's a competitive sport. People are gonna talk trash and stuff, and that's not a bad thing. You just have to deal with it, and I think it's a good part of our team. When he was asked about Jalen Davis, he said he's a very savvy veteran. He's aggressive. He's strong. Plays pretty aggressive, and yeah. Yeah, like I said, players being added was one of the changes that Jamar Chase wanted, and that clearly happened with all of the players like Dexter Lawrence, Jonathan Allen, Boye Mafe, Brian Cook, Cassius Howell, Takario Davis, Kyle Duggar. All these players that are being added to the defense, which is just a great thing. Colby Young, another great, Keyshawn Williams, who we got from the Steelers last season. There's just a lot of improvements, and it's really good to hear that he's happy with what's going on. He said that for the receivers for like the younger guys to fit in. He wants to see speed and just relaxedness, and he said like when our receivers are gonna be doing stuff like that, then they'll fit right in to what this team kind of wants us to do. So for people like Colby Young and Keyshawn Williams and Andre Yosivas, playing with speed and just being relaxed, and they'll fit right in to what they're kind of aiming for. He also talked about Yosivas just improving every year, being better as a player. His best season was definitely last year. I actually want to search up his stats to see what they were like. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up right now. Andre Yosivas. I just wanna. I think he had like close to 500 I think he had more than 500 receiving yards last season. 2023 in his rookie season, he had 116 yards, 4 touchdowns. 2024, he had 479 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. And then in 2025, he had 435 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. So maybe a little bit of regression from 2 years ago, but that still doesn't mean he's improving as just a player in general. He did have 5 drops this season, which is definitely a little bit shaky, but he's trying his hardest. He's improving. I believe one of the interviews I was discussing, they talked about how Andre, looking at his season last year, you can either look at it as like something that demotivates you and makes you sad, it makes you annoyed that you did not the best, but it just made him more motivated and more disciplined and more eager to get better as a player. And that's a great trait about Yosivas, is that he's always willing to improve. He's always wanting to get better, and that's something that's really good about him. And yeah, he has a lot of potential. If a wide receiver gets injured, he's probably gonna fill in a big role, and he's ready for that. He's ready to fill in that big hole if a player is injured and he has to fill in that position. But yeah. Great route runner, Jamar Chase said, praising T. Higgins, and very great at, jump balls, 1v1s, super tall, athletic, great route runner. He talked about how DJ Turner is playing with more confidence and aggressiveness, which we can definitely see with the physical altercation against them. That's also a great thing, just playing with more confidence, believing in yourself, because DJ Turner is a spectacular player. I've mentioned this many times before. He's tied for third most passes defended by a defender, which was 17, I believe, or 18. Let me look that up. And he also had 2 interceptions, which is 2 big improvements from his first year as a Bengal. Let's see. Okay, so in his first 2 seasons, he had 0 interceptions. He had 1 fumble recovery in 2023. I'm trying to look at he had a sack in 2023 as well. He had more tackles in 2023 than 2025. Wait, where is the... Oh, here we go. Passes defended. So we can see over the past 3 years, he's made huge improvements in passes defended. Um, in his rookie season, he had 7 passes defended. In 2024, he had 8 passes defended. And then in 2025, he had 18 passes defended. So that's a 10 passes defended increase than 2 seasons ago, which is really good. And, he's definitely not the tallest cornerback, but he makes up for that in speed. And he also has Takario Davis to help him out, who's 6'4". DJ Turner's actually 5'11", my bad. But, like I said, Takario Davis is super tall, and he can still move really well. So, I'm excited to see what the secondary can do. And, he was asked about Colby Young, and he said, he's a rookie. He still has many improvements to make. He has to prove himself. And he also said that Jamar Chase himself also has to make improvements for himself. He has to get better. Better route running. Even though he's a spectacular player, there's always room for improvement. I think that's a very humble thing he said. And yeah. So that'll conclude today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll be posting more videos in the future. I'm definitely going to be doing some training camp videos. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.